What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy Trey Johnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. As always, before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe. You can always comment throughout. Just keep them comments respectful. Also, if you want to support your favorite podcaster, the link will be in the episode's description. And, for those of y'all that have followed me for a while, I'm usually not this dapper Dan. Look, I have to look good for work. That's what I do. But to be honest, I just got home. Could have changed. Could have kind of got casual. But I look so business-like, I thought it was appropriate because this episode is about standing on business. And so that's kind of what I'm here to conduct. But I'm also wanting certain people to stand up on business. When I say certain people, we talking about God's chosen franchise, my New Orleans Saints. And I really feel a type of way. For me to say they God's chosen, I say they blessed by his holiness, the Pope, not once, but twice. And that's all good in games. But when I think about this team, what is meant to this city, what is meant to the state of Louisiana, what is meant to me and my family, you know, is life. So if I get a little emotional throughout this, you can kind of hear it in my voice already. It's real. And so the Saints right now, they're 3-3, not really bad, but coming in having the weakest schedule in the NFL, you expected them to be about 4-2, 5-1. And obviously, if a few kicks go their way, maybe they are. Maybe they're undefeated. But also in the same vein, due to how we have been looking, we could be 0-6, to be quite honest with you, because it wasn't like the Saints have been blowing away teams or anything like that. Defense still was the Angola, even though they have a few kinks and things like that. But, I'm gonna save the Saints, who have on a short week, have a game on Thursday. I'm gonna kind of save God's chosen franchise and talking to them a little bit later. This message right here is for Who Dat Nation. And when I say Who Dat Nation, I just gotta say it universally, but I just want to say this. Look, if it don't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fit, put that bitch on and go walk a couple blocks in New Orleans for me. So that's just what it's gonna be. If it don't apply to you, don't worry about it. But you know who you are, you know what you said, and you're gonna have to stand on business. And that's what we're gonna talk about. So let's rewind till coming into last season. And so we understood that there wasn't really going to be a quarterback competition. Jameis Winston was going to be the starter. Andy Dalton was going to be the backup quarterback. Taysom Hill was going to be the utility guy to kind of come in and do what he had to do every now and then, the Taysom ball, which we know and love at times. And for some, in Who Dat Nation, man, the conversation was much different. There were so many expectations or thought processes about a Jameis Winston who was going to be the starter that, you know, you coming off a Hall of Famer in Drew Brees, you want to try to find the next guy. So it makes sense to have certain expectations and saying, hey, this guy ain't gonna meet those expectations. We need to look elsewhere. You had everybody before the season doing they draft boards and everything, talking about who were gonna be the top quarterbacks coming out in a 2023 draft, the Bryce Youngs, the CJ Strouds of the world, things of that nature. Or at the same time, we had already traded our first round pick for the 2023 draft for Trevor Penning, who we know isn't really doing well this year and had to do some things to get Chris Olave as well, who did his thing as a rookie. But to stay on point, going through those first three games, man, that Jameis played, we finished 1-2, a win against the Falcons, and then two consecutive losses versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which he played horrible, and against the Carolina Panthers, albeit he was injured, but it is what it is. But you saw a lot of fans, as they want to call themselves, talking about the quarterback. That, man, he can't get the job done. He can't do it. Now, all in all, he had been sacked 11 times in his three starts, which basically means he was kind of on pace to be sacked over 50 times that season if he happened to play the whole season. Keep in mind, he had a broken back and he had a foot injury that was really what kept him out for the rest of the season. But the discourse around the quarterback position was that it was the quarterback. And that's not to say that the quarterback position was playing great by any means. No. But if you had watched last year objectively, you knew that our offensive line had some issues. James Hurst, who was our starting left tackle after Penny couldn't go, hadn't practiced all offseason. So game one against the Falcons, it was no wonder James was getting his ass kicked on the blind side because his starting left tackle didn't participate all offseason. James himself, having dealing with that foot injury early on in camp, hadn't really practiced a whole ton in the offseason. So it made sense that we were going to have some growing pains, especially in the run game. Couldn't get that going. If you want to know, in the first 3 games, we passed the ball 70% of the time, ran the ball 30% of the time, just to give you an idea of what was going on. But again, the conversations happen to center around one position. That it wasn't really the play calling. It wasn't really the offensive line. It was that, well, the offensive line is struggling because the quarterback isn't smart enough. And for those of you that have a skin tone like me, you understand how that narrative, especially about a black quarterback, has been around for decades. So it makes you kind of raise your antennas a little bit, but you just let it go, right? And then we got Andy Dalton for 14 games, the calming presence. And it wasn't beautiful by any stretch of the imagination, but, we were in games, and he always felt like he was a guy that could keep you in the game, but maybe not be a guy that could win you the game. And to some degree, in the offseason, because I can tell you right now, that wasn't the discourse by some of y'all during the season. Y'all was acting like the dad dude was the second coming of Drew, the way he was acting, even though we weren't really scoring as effectively as we wanted to. We weren't, converting points and things like that and really being efficient offensively. You always had, head scratchers. But again, for the most part, especially when we got to the offseason, thinking about, okay, what are we going to do? The big issue was quarterback. Now, keep in mind, Andy Dalton was a free agent, so you kind of knew, especially after the season he had where he kind of ranked pretty high amongst his peers, you knew that he was at least going to leave, for more money somewhere, maybe have a chance to start, whatever it might be. And you knew that Jameis was still in the contract for another year. But it almost seemed like, okay, well, we about to make a move at quarterback. So whether it was going to be the draft and trading up to get somebody like a Will Levis or whatever it might be, or if it was going to be looking on the market. And so early in the offseason, seeing what happened with Derek Carr, and I will really get, backtrack with him for a second eventually, but it seemed like Dennis Allen, our head coach, wanted his guy, and they, went crazy after Derek Carr, gave him the works in terms of trying to get him to sign with us over the Jets, who did not want him, by the way. And they made that extremely clear on multiple occasions that Aaron Rodgers was their first preference. And they weren't going to do anything until Green Bay said yay or nay. But anyways, it became very clear that Derek Carr was probably going to be a New Orleans Saint. We got the deal done, signed to $150 million, 100 guaranteed. It's a 4-year deal, although we have been out after 2 years. If things don't go well, okay, cool. The receivers, the defensive players, they all jumping for joy. They're like, yeah, we got a guy we trust. And so, for those that kind of had a personal vendetta or personal beef with one Jameis Winston that didn't really have much to do with football, they took that time to get their licks in, because you kind of assumed, I even assumed that Jameis wouldn't be here anymore, right? Why would he be here? Who in the history of the game, where do you sign a new quarterback to be your starting quarterback and keep the previous starter, who, by the way, had won 60% of their starts? So it is what it is. We're in the off season. And so what I want to focus on is the narratives that started getting pushed. We got an adult in the quarterback room. We got somebody you can trust because, Pete Carmichael couldn't trust Jameis. He couldn't trust Jameis because of his intellect. He couldn't trust Andy Dalton because of his physical abilities. But Derek Carr has it all. He has the mind. He has, he has the smarts and physical abilities and that command that we haven't had since Drew. Now, keep in mind, let's go back a little bit more. Derek Carr is the same person that had his worst year as a starter. having the best wide receiver in the NFL in Devontae Adams, who didn't miss a beat, and the league's leading rusher in Josh Jacobs. But the weak link was Derek Carr. But Derek Carr, by the way, that our defense, New Orleans Saints, shut out 24-0 at home. They didn't even cross the 50-yard line until they put Jarrett Stidham in the game. A guy, again, who was the worst red zone quarterback in the NFL last year, and historically is one of the worst red zone quarterbacks in the league during his tenure in the NFL. Not only did we sign him, which I didn't have an issue with that signing him, you always want to try to improve the quarterback room if you can, but a 4-year commitment, yeah, 2 years, whatever y'all say. But again, the ink was for 4 years. You're hoping that he can give you 4 years. A guy that was benched last year. And instead of being a leader that everybody says he is, instead of being a leader and saying, okay, you guys want to end up trading me, you don't want to go in a different direction, you want to give Jared a shot, I'm going to be a good teammate, choose team over self. Keep in mind, my best friend is the wide receiver, starting wide receiver, best receiver in the league, Devontae Adams. Instead of helping a Jarrett Stidham, a young quarterback, get prepared for the starts to finish out the season, no, we took his ball and went home. And the reports say they mutually agreed to part ways. Well, for those of you that want to be technical, when something is mutual, that means you as well want to not be near the team. Derek Carr had a decision, and he made a decision that, okay, I'm not going to be around the team. And he was comfortable with that. And we wanted to bring that into an already shaky atmosphere with a shaky coach, a shaky culture. That's a losing culture. And so you can look on Twitter at Future NBA Gov. That's my main Twitter handle. Where over the offseason, when everybody's saying what the Saints are going to do, what they aren't going to do, I'm saying, guys, I watched this man. Don't give him all of these expectations. If it's, oh, we might finish second and third in the division, maybe make the playoffs, he will work wonders with that. He worked wonders with it in 2021. Nobody thought the Raiders were going to do anything. John Gruden had gotten fired for being a racist and a bigot and homophobic. And nobody thought the Raiders were going to go anywhere. And guess what happens? Derek Carr goes on a tear. They finish 10-7, and they are this close to beating the eventual AFC champion, Cincinnati Bengals, on the road. Then guess what they follow up? John Gruden's fired. They get one of the best offensive play callers in the league, Josh McDaniels, to be the head coach in his second stint as a head coach in this league. They get Devontae Adams, the best receiver in the league at that time. Obviously, you have Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow who dealt with their injuries, but then you have a resurgence in Josh Jacobs, and you have these expectations now that, man, y'all made the playoffs last year, and y'all had a crock of shit. Now we got some things to roll with. Y'all might be one pushing KC for the division, and hell, you might be a AFC champion. That expectation, and guess what? Derek Carr didn't stand or rise up to the occasion. He didn't. That's just what it is. It's the facts. I watched the games. I didn't just look at box scores. I didn't just look at highlights. I watched the games. I got NFL Sunday ticket, so sorry you don't, but I do. I got to watch all the games whenever I felt like it. So it is what it is. So trying to temper all of these expectations, like, look, man, just keep it chill. We just need a guy that's going to come in, not going to mess up. We got all this talent on offense as far as skilled players. You got Michael Thomas that's probably going to be healthy. We saw how dominant Rashid Shaheed was his rookie year and how electric he can be. You know, Chris Olave, who I affectionately call Smooth, you know, he going to bring it, man. You got Juwan Johnson have his best year as a pro coming in, even though he's dealing with some injuries. You get a Foster Moreau. You eventually sign a Jimmy Graham. Man, we cooking with some things. Everything looking good. But we got to temper those expectations. But nah, y'all refuse to do that. Y'all got so blinded by your hate of one person that you had to overvalue someone like Derek Carr. Now, again, I'm not talking to the objective folks that have followed Derek Carr's career. They know he's kind of a middle of the pack quarterback, and he might win you some games. He might lose you some games. You might make the playoffs. Having a weak division that the NFC South was projected to be, they kind of thought, okay, of the quarterbacks that they're going to be playing against in that division, he's the grown up in the room. He's clearly the better talent. they'll make it happen. They'll get there. 10-7, 11-6, whatever it is. But nah, man, we had some folks saying 14-3, 13-4. We're gonna be able to take on the Eagles and all that bullshit. And so it's one thing as fans, right? We're fanatics. We're supposed to say some crazy, outlandish shit. It just happens. Comes with the territory. But players, which I get it, I guess you can't settle for less. But when Cam Jordan saying, "Man, we're gonna get them to Vegas, we getting them back to Vegas for that Super Bowl," Michael Thomas saying, "Thank you God," when Derek Carr signs, taking a shot. It is what it is. Knowing your defensive leaders were vouching for Derek Carr, knowing how happy you saw Dennis Allen at that press conference and how happy he was. So you know everybody was kind of overvaluing what the Carr experience was going to be. Media was overvaluing what the Carr experience was going to be, saying things like, "We haven't seen someone have this much command over the offense since Drew." And you can pretend to say, act like that's not anointing him as the next guy or the next Drew. But when you mention anyone in the same vein of a Hall of Famer, a guy that brought winning culture to New Orleans, you are setting that expectation right there. That's what, but during that time, right? Trey over here saying, "Hey man, I hear you, but why give all this money to Derek Carr? They got Jameis for another year. You can go draft a quarterback in this draft. We end up struggling. Give it 3, 4 games. If Jameis is still struggling to how y'all feel struggling looks like, let the young guy play. If he still looks bad, then you got bad QB room. You're gonna have a good pick in the draft. You can go get, Caleb Williams, the Drake May. We didn't know all the other guys that ended up getting to the discussion now, like the Michael Penix Juniors, the Shadur Sanders of the world. But you knew you could get in the Drake May or Caleb Williams sweepstakes. That's what I was saying. Like, man, look, like it doesn't matter. Like James is cheap as shit. We fucking won with him. Let's see if he's healthy. Let's see what we do. Everybody's healthy. We know the struggles. We know offensive line is a little crappy. We know offensive play calling is a little crappy, but hey, maybe let's just see how this thing goes. And like I said, draft a young quarterback, have him in that room. If Jameis struggles, put the young guy in. If they're good, we got our guy. If they're not, we're going to be looking for our guy the next draft. No, we need to sign Derek Carr, man. He good, man. It was just the Raiders. It was the Raiders are dysfunctional. Like the Saints aren't dysfunctional or didn't have a history of being dysfunctional. Oh man, it's the play calling, the offensive play calling. Josh McDaniels sucks. Not, I mean, is Peter Carmichael Jr. something to write home about? Okay. Oh, it was the offensive line. Well, y'all seen the Saints offensive line? They got Jameis killed. They got Drew killed. Taysom in his limited starts would have broke a record for how many times he was sacked. But it is what it is. Oh, well, the defense, that's what it is, Trey. That's what it is. The Raiders has shitty defenses, which is true. They did. So now he finally has a defense, and we're going to be good. And that's what everybody was saying. That's what Saints media was saying. That's what Saints players were saying. That's what Saints fans were saying. That's what the fucking Carr family was saying, even though they've been absent the past fucking 3 weeks. Wonder why. But I digress. It is what it is. I said, okay. I said, guys, like we still have the same offensive line. We still have the same play caller. We still have the same head coach that we was talking about probably needed to go last year. We still have all these dynamics that led to the struggle. But no, Trey, you wrong, man. The quarterback was the reason for all that, man. The quarterback wasn't smart enough. They didn't trust the quarterback to make checks at the line. They didn't trust. You got a person that can go in, and if they don't like that play, they're going to change that fucking play, Trey. Peter Carmichael won't be handcuffed, Trey. He's a generational mind. You saw what he did with Drew Brees. It's just that Jameis and Andy weren't good enough, Trey. Derek's in that echelon, Trey. Stop being a hater, Trey. That's what the fuck y'all was telling me. I'm hating when I'm trying to be a realist. I watched him play. We are not getting that much value. A guy that gets benched does not get a 4-year deal the next season. In what world? You know what we're behaving like? We're behaving like the Ditka Saints. We're behaving like the Hazlitt Saints, where we're so desperate for somebody to love us and to want us that we will overpay for their services. There's no fucking way he should have got that money. Oh, well, Daniel Jones got the money. Daniel Jones is 25 years old. If you pay attention to how they treating fucking Saquon Barkley, an idiot can see that they thought that Daniel Jones is going to be their franchise player from now on. Jimmy G, who done made the 3 NFC championship games, a Super Bowl, would have won if his head coach wasn't a fucking choke artist. 3-year deal, about $25 million a year. Really a 1-year deal though. But nah, we can't fucking phantom a concept like that. We couldn't do that. But anyways, nah, Trey, you are wrong, man. Everything is predicated on the quarterback position. You want to know how I know? That's what y'all said and what the organization thought. It's all they brought in offensively. They didn't make it a point to draft offensive line in the first round. They didn't make it a point to get the marquee free agents at offensive line into the building. They didn't make it a point to try to trade some assets to get a marquee offensive lineman. They didn't make a change at offensive coordinator. They made no changes offensively. They got a Derek Carr guy in Foster Moreau offensively. They tried to do the Brian Edwards bullshit and glad he got cut. But they didn't really make drastic changes other than the quarterback position that y'all said was the only thing holding us back. If we had a quarterback smart enough or physically gifted enough, we were going to be just fine. Carr was our guy. That's what you fucking dumbasses said. Because y'all don't watch y'all's football. But I said, okay. I said, I'm going to tell you now, 6 weeks. That's what I'm giving it. I think that's what the organization is giving it. God, luckily, I guess for Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, we're 3-3. But we're going to see what happens on Thursday. If that offense don't look good, there might be some drastic changes. But we'll see. But I said, look, man, I'm going to give it 6 weeks. And I wanted to give it 6 weeks because, look, I knew Alvin was going to get suspended. He was going to miss the first 3 games. I'm glad we finished 2-1. Should have been 3-0. I thought we might be 2-1 or 1-2. So I wasn't surprised that we were 2-1, just surprised at the way we were 2-1 because we didn't have our best player offensively, Alvin Kamara. And I will tell you, as much as I'm getting on some of y'all for what y'all were saying, I too at least thought we might be a little bit better. I thought Derek Carr was at least better than Andy Dalton in terms of big playability, which, by the way, y'all kept talking about check down. And Alvin Kamara is going to be so much involved. Outside of that Tampa game, outside of design plays, really, is he really giving Alvin Kamara the ball? Is Michael Thomas feasting the way we thought? No, but we'll get into that. But I gave y'all an outlook of the season and that these things would have to be right for Derek Carr to really be at his best. Why? What were the knocks on Derek Carr his whole career? He's soft. He's iffy in the pocket. He will rarely stand up in the pocket and step up in the pocket. A lot of times he'll throw off his back foot or kind of back mechanics, which takes him off the ball. It's going to be a deep ball, maybe a check down at the last minute, but any intermediate stuff that usually doesn't kind of correlate with his game. If you actually watched him, you would know that. Actually led the league. Devontae Adams led the league in yards per catch or big plays. That's what the Raiders were. So you knew you were getting a big arm quarterback, and you know that. And I said, look, y'all, the first 3 games when we had a big arm quarterback last year with James Winston, guess what, y'all? We were running deep routes. He wasn't running the slants and all that type of stuff outside of that drive against Atlanta. That's not what we were running. Oh, Trey, you don't know what you're talking about. Bro, they had Juice Landry, who's one of the best slot route runners. They had this dude running goals, man. Chris Olave, the first 3 weeks, I thought his only routes he knew was a 9 and a post. That's really what I thought. Like they wasn't utilizing the guy, getting him moving, just getting the ball in his hands on screens. None of that. Michael Thomas, removed from an ankle injury, they just got him running straight up the field. That's what was going on. But no, it was Jameis is ignoring everybody and yada, yada, yada. But I said, okay, man, I see the play calling, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I am the idiot. Maybe. So going into this season, I'm still having some of these reservations because I know that the root of the Saints' issues were not addressed. Everybody thought we can just put a quarterback, a middle of the pack one at that, and think that was going to happen. Do you know why middle of the pack quarterbacks are middle of the pack quarterbacks? It's because they won't lose you games, but they won't necessarily win you games either. That's why they're middle of the pack. Your top echelon, they're going to win you games. The bottom pack, they're going to lose you games. Everything else can go right. You can have the off the line, the run game, the defense, and they'll mess it up. That's your bottom of the barrel quarterback. But y'all didn't want to listen to it. Okay. So now we're in the 2023 season. And y'all want to be objective. Derek Carr hasn't been the guy we paid to be. And in a sense, and what I mean by that, because I want to counteract the point, because every time you talk about what we paid Carr to be, everybody wants to bring up, well, he's the 13 or 14 best quarterback in the league, or that's what we paid him. But that's not what the Saints sold us on. They told us he is the guy to get us to the next level. What you guys have experienced over the past 2 years, he's much better than that. And if you're an honest and objective Saints fan, can you truly say what you have experienced over a matter of 6 weeks is that far better? And if you say, yes, Trey, it is, well, the numbers will prove you wrong. Jameis was much better in his first 6 starts. Andy Dalton was much better in his first 6 starts with the Saints last year, especially in the red zone. You know, the thing I told you guys that Derek Carr struggles with, and also that our offensive coordinator struggles with, so they're both going to be shit. But y'all said, no, it's the quarterback. You want me to, I got some numbers for y'all. In 2019, 44%. Okay. 2020, 68%. You know, 2019, that's when Drew got hurt, so we were around him for a little bit. 2020, Drew's back early on, 68%. 2021, I wonder who the starting fucking quarterback was the first 6 games. 87.5 touchdown percentage. 2022, 65%. That's 3 games with Jameis, 3 games with Dalton. 65%, so still pretty damn good. 2023, we are less than 37%, 36.8% to be exact, in terms of converting red zone opportunities into touchdowns. Do you not see the trend here? Do you not see that we're lacking? We're averaging less points per game this year than we did with Andy Dalton at quarterback. And y'all remember the calming presence experience. I'm sure you do. You remember it. We're off. But now, Who Dat Nation wants to say, Trey, you can't possibly blame Derek Carr. Trey, how fucking dare you? Are you not watching the games? Are you not seeing how bad the offensive line is, Trey? Are you not seeing how bad and inept Peter Carmichael Jr. is as an offensive coordinator? Are you not seeing the receivers, Trey? How dare you blame poor Derek Carr? How many excuses are we going to make for him? It's a trend, man. At the very least, with Jameis, it was the turnover thing, but you at least saw with Sean, he wasn't turning the ball over. And it took 1 game with 3 turnovers when you played him with a broken back and a bum fucking foot for him to just fucking lose his shit and turn the ball over. So until then, he wasn't really committing turnovers as a New Orleans Saints quarterback. By the way, y'all want to care about turnovers so fucking much. Guess who's 3rd in the league? Yeah, Derek Carr. Yeah, so that let me know good and well y'all either don't watch football or y'all ignore shit when the quarterback don't have a little melanin in them. Because if you really cared about turnovers, you wouldn't be capping for the Derek Carrs. You wouldn't be capping for the Josh Allens of the world. You would not. but you don't care about turnovers. I remember a time when we wanted Matthew Stafford, who I affectionately call Matthew Pafford. He was a turnover waiting to happen. Y'all don't care about turnovers. Oh, Trey, what are you talking about? Yeah, see, he won the Super Bowl. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl, and guess what? He led the regular season and the postseason in interceptions. So stop telling you give a fuck about turnovers. You don't. You know why you cared about turnovers? It's because the media, that's all you knew about Jameis was turnovers. So all you had to say was turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. I can't think for myself. I'm sorry. Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. But we get a quarterback that's third on the list, on the active list. In terms of, I think, the past 5 or 6 years, he's had the most turnovers. Because Josh Allen has had the most since he's entered the league. So it's been in that range since Josh Allen's been in the league. So we're seeing still the same shit offensive line play. Still seeing the same shit play calling. But hey, remember, you guys said we have a quarterback that can make calls and checks at the fucking line of scrimmage. That's what y'all said, remember? So if Pete is calling a shit play, why isn't Derek changing it? If Derek is changing the play calls, why is it still looking like shit? Ask yourself that. Are you getting in the quarterback position what was sold to you? And yes, I can be very objective. I can be very objective with you. I know the offensive line is shit. I know Peter Carmichael is a piece of crap. But guess what, motherfuckers? You don't get the luxury of having me be objective with you. Because when I and others needed you guys to be objective last year, you were nowhere to be found. You wanted to push your agendas. And guess what? The agenda's biting you like a fucking chihuahua on your heels. It's coming back. You got to stand up on business now. I can't be your friend. We can't be Who Dat Nation together. No, because fuck you. You are a leech. You are a disease within my fan base. And y'all treat this. Y'all treat the New Orleans Saints like it's basketball. Like, oh, I get in love with players, or I hate players, and that drives my whole concept of how I think about the game. Good or bad, we could talk about anybody. Everybody be talking about now. Well, man, we ain't appreciate Drew when we had him and yada yada. But you know what the beauty of that was? There was a time where if Drew fucking Brees wasn't playing up to the standard that he had set for himself and to us, that we as a collective could come out and say, Drew, man, that wasn't your best game, dog. You gotta play better. Or when you started to see that Drew's declining, it's like, yeah, man, Drew declining, but he still got the best mind in the game. We got to do some things a little bit different. Or you saw his body was truly failing and he wasn't himself and he probably shouldn't be in the game. You collectively could say, man, you might want to keep Taysom in that drive against Minnesota because we're moving the ball. Or you might want to put Teddy in the game to kind of finish things out. Or it seems like the way to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now is to get the ball deep. And so you can see they're sitting on routes. And Drew has a collapsed lung, a torn rotator cuff that we didn't know about, and broken ribs. We could be as a collective unit, as a fan base, as a family, we could agree that, man, something needs to change. Something ain't looking right. But no, now, not now. And look, I'm not about to absolve the Jameis stands that are out there from some things, because to some degree, y'all fuck some shit up too. Y'all make up things, make up some outlandish things. Because again, do I think Jameis will be playing like much better than Carr? I think it would look the exact fucking same. To be quite honest with you, I think we'd have shit offensive line play. Like we have a shit play caller that knows what the fuck he's doing. The only thing that probably would be better is the red zone, because he showed you that he does well in the red zone. That's about it that I can say Jameis gonna do this better. Like red zone is pretty much the only thing that I can point to right now. But you got some people saying, nah, he will be doing this and that and the third. And I ain't got time for that discussion. The only discussion that needs to be had, especially in the matter of the contract, y'all keep on talking about this bullshit that, well, Carr is only the 14th to 15th highest paid. Well, fuck it. I don't care. Because guess what? He's doing the same thing. He was brought in to elevate us, and he has yet to do that. So if he is not elevating us, why couldn't we keep the guy making $10 fucking million doing the same thing of kind of being in the middle of the pack? We struggle a little bit on offense. What is it? Y'all not like, I don't get it. It's moments like this, honestly, where I understand why the state of Louisiana is shit in education and why the city of New Orleans is one of the worst ones too in terms of cities. Because y'all can't just compile and use common sense for some of this shit. It's simple economics. Why would you pay 10 times the price to get equal or less the value or production? Why? In what world? In what industry? That wouldn't even happen at McDonald's. You think it's supposed to happen in the National Football League? Are you serious? And I get it. It ain't our money. But that don't mean we not spending money. We spending money on jerseys. We spending money on season tickets. We spending money on gas. We spending money on parking. Shit, we got to spend money on insurance because they can't protect your fucking vehicles down there. Can't protect your shit. Everything getting broken into. Just had the fucking district attorney and his mother-in-law get carjacked. It's fucking Gotham City down there. It's like I think somebody I was in the Twitter Spaces. They do name Brian and a lady named Nicole. Thank y'all so much because that was the most objective conversation around the Saints that I've ever heard. And I don't know everybody's Twitter handles by heart, but if y'all watch this episode, I want y'all to know I appreciated what y'all was able to do yesterday because for the first time in a 2-year period, I think Who Dat Nation had a genuine conversation about the state of our team, and that is good. That is good that we can be objective. But as for me, I can't be objective with some of y'all. As I like to call y'all the North Shore aspect of Who Dat Nation. You know who you be. You know what you said. You know what you implied. You can't walk back on that shit now. You got to stand on business. No, it can't be the offensive line fault. No, it can't be Peter Carmichael's fault. That was the quarterback fault because that's what y'all decided to put on. Y'all decided to put that on the quarterback for a year, for almost 2 years. Y'all decided to put all of our troubles on that one position. Dennis Allen got away with fucking malpractice of what he did last year because y'all raised up an army of saying, we just need a new quarterback. Everything will be good. And now y'all got the fucking nerve to bring Chris Olave into this shit. And now let me first start by saying, look, he been playing a little half-ass in terms of kind of pouting on the sideline and things like that. But if I'm routing the motherfucker up and I ain't getting the ball, guess what? I play a receiver. My pappy play a receiver. I'm sorry, some of y'all that probably never got to play, or the only reason why you was on the team was because your mama and the head coach was really good friends. Like, y'all ain't never played before. Y'all ain't never sweat. Y'all ain't never fucking blood and tears. And you doing everything you gotta do, preparation, doing the fuck you gotta do, dominating your matchup, and your quarterback can't get you the ball. Come on, like that's human nature. Does he need to mature? I agree, yes. But at the same time, he also is in his second season. Y'all want everybody to be a 10-year vet right away. That's not how that works. It's not human nature. What did you do at 22? What was your lifestyle at 22? What was your mentality and maturity level? And just because, dudes make $1 million, you just assume they just supposed to forget. Like everything changed once you make a lot of money. Nah, he's just a young, immature at times person that happens to be a millionaire. He's no different from me or you at that age. But now y'all trying to bring it on a guy who dominated. He doesn't know his routes. Bullshit. Everybody on the offense has been in this offense except for one person. The one person that's supposed to make everything fucking better. So if Chris Olave don't know what the fuck he's doing on the field, whose job is it to communicate on the fucking field? So you can't in one segment, in one aspect, try to say it was the quarterback in this era, and then want to try to bring up everybody and their mama in this one. And you want me to tell you how full of shit y'all are? It would be one thing if y'all had this damn narrative just in last season. It was totally new this year. In week fucking 3, 17-0 lead against the Green Bay Packers. Defense kind of shits the bed. Offensive play calling, you can tell it's fucking conservative. To a degree, it made sense because you just lost your starting fucking quarterback. You can't lose You can't fucking overutilize Taysom because now he got to be your emergency quarterback, and you don't want to put Jameis, who just came off a fucking injury, on the fucking cart. So you got to be conservative to a degree. But everybody's seen the fucking conservative play calling that we've been seeing all fucking year when we get a lead. But nah, it was his fault we lost. Not to mention, once you fucking open up the playbook, the dude got you downfield for Blake Grupe to miss field goal. But Sunday, that's all we wanted to talk about. The little kid from Notre Dame, the rookie, right? That shouldn't be put in positions to have to win you games, right? That's what the fuck y'all said during week 3. And now, when Jameis is no longer on the field, we got to go back to being objective. Week 4, Carr really shouldn't have played. We could tell he was hurt. Still hurt, in my opinion, but they got him out there. It is what it is. This dude quit. Oh, Trey, how you know he quit? You in the locker room? Nah, I played, man. I know what quitting looks like. I know what frustration of, I'm done with this. Fumbled the ball. It didn't have the game, didn't have the resurgent performance he thought he was going to have, mustering the strength with the bum throwing shoulder to help lead the Saints to victory. He didn't have Derek Carr, didn't have the performance he thought he was going to have. He got upset after a fumble, ripped his sleeve off, said, I'm done. Next off the possession, I see fucking Jameis come out there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, and he throws an interception. Right, yeah. So now let me tell y'all how y'all really are. All we talked about was the one interception when if you put in a backup in the game, because the next week they put him in the game after we was doing whatever you want to call it to the Patriots. They put him in the game. What we did, we just ran the ball. So if the game over, there's no chance in winning. Why is Jameis throwing the ball? That's one thing. But anyways, he threw the ball and get picked. Now if you look at the play, James Hurst just let the defender just walk in and hit James as soon as he throwing the ball, which is why it was off in the air, which is fine. It is what it is. On Carr's interception, which I really think, or not Carr's interception, on Carr's underthrow, horrible underthrow at that to Rashid Shaheed. Oh, he got his jersey tugged. That's why he underthrew him. He got his jersey tugged, Trey. So, again, he get the benefit of the doubt of being contacted by the defender. But you didn't do that shit during week 4. You didn't have this objectivity in week 3. But it's fine. Because I'm going to give you what you want, motherfuckers. It's Burger King. You can have it your way. But I'm not about to play this game of objectivity. I'm not going to allow you to try to have amnesia of all the things you said during the offseason, of what we were going to look like, what Carr was going to look like, how he was going to have so much command of this offense. We were going to be a top 5 unit offensively. Are we a top 5 unit offensively? No, we are not. And y'all are blaming everybody. And I ain't saying you're wrong. I want to preface that. I ain't saying you're wrong. Yeah, offensive line crap. Yeah, Peter Carmichael need to be fired. But we didn't need to pay somebody $150 million to see that. Because anybody that watched last year objectively knew. But y'all couldn't. Y'all couldn't accept that. Y'all couldn't accept that it was actually these individuals. You couldn't accept that it was a career loser. And Dennis Allen. You couldn't accept it wasn't Peter Carmichael, who, if you like that as an offensive coordinator, why you ain't never got a head coach opportunity and you had Drew Brees throwing 5,000 yards every year? That's because everybody knew you was slow. You wasn't no guy that could be a leader of men. Doug Marrone, responsible for the worst offensive line in the history of the University of Alabama under Nick Saban. He gets a job. But we couldn't talk about that. We couldn't be objective then. Well, we could have, but you chose not to. So for this year, I'm telling you right now, I'm choosing not to be objective. Fuck you and your mom. I'm not going to be objective. I'll be objective with my family and my friends, but I won't be objective with y'all. When y'all try to say, oh, Trey, did you see Trevor Penny get beat? Yeah. Get the ball out quicker. Don't hold on too long. Oh, man, did you see him try to throw that deep ball to Olave? Yeah, Michael Thomas open in a flat, or Alvin Kamara open in the flat. Michael Thomas open underneath. He ignoring. Oh, Trey, man, you saw how he got hit on that pick, man. Shit, you can't be throwing picks, dog. I don't know what to tell you. That's what you're gonna get from me. Now, for all my partners that been objective, y'all know I talk real with you. I talk real with you. But for the rest of y'all, and y'all know who y'all are, I ain't gonna be objective with you. And I say it every time. Every time we talk about objectivity, I say, you right, but I'm making a choice to not be objective because you gotta atone. And that's what it is, Who That Nation. Look, we still God's chosen franchise. I believe that shit. It ain't a game. Like my boy Barnes say, shit more than the game. Like, I really believe we God's chosen franchise. It ain't no coincidence we've been blessed by His Holiness the Pope, not once but twice. But guess what? If you a believer in the word like I am, you understand that God's chosen His children, they get the worst ass whoopings. They get the worst ass whoopings when they don't act right. The Hebrews had a straight shot to the land flowing with milk and honey, right there, straight shot. Because they want to do their own thing, have their own narratives, do things their way. 40 years, circles, circles, till they got their mind right. Till they got their mind right. David had his own punishment. Solomon had his own punishment. It is what it is. It happens. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't gonna be objective with y'all this year. I'm telling you, I ain't changing shit. Now, when we get our rookie quarterback in 2024, hope is Michael Penix Jr. And then I'll be objective. We can talk about everybody and their mama who wrong, Miss Gail, her baby daddy, whoever it is. Look, we can talk about everybody and their mama. And we're gonna support that young man who is now the face of our franchise. But for this year, you ain't getting that out of me. But I want to have this conversation so y'all can see how y'all let that hate, that disease, that hate is, how you let it infiltrate our fan base. Now we got burner accounts. You got Derek Carr burner accounts. You got Jameis Winston burner accounts. I think I seen a Jake Hayner burner account. People that didn't start a Twitter account until August of 2021. Who just started a Twitter account that early? Like, come on, or that late? Like, come on, man, be real. Shit, now it's like I'm having conversations with bots. I be trying to look and see if people are real people before I engage in conversation. Because if all I see is Saints paraphernalia and all that type of stuff on your page, I ain't even gonna talk to you because I don't think you're a real person. I think Elon Musk or the algorithm just want me to, get into a shout match with you so we can kind of keep all these little trends going on the timeline. So I really be strategic on who I even talk to about these things. So my thing is, we can be objective together, but first you got to stand on business. I need you to admit that you was wrong. I need you to admit that Carr ain't who you thought he was, that he could not clean up the mess that was Peter Carmichael, and he could not clean up the mess that is that offensive line, and he could not clean up that mess that was Dennis Allen. He tried once and failed. Dennis Allen got fired in Oakland. It ain't an opinion, it's a fact. So going forward, all I'm going to say, Who That Nation, atone for your sins. Get them haters out. Get them haters out. Y'all know who they are. Get them out of here. We have allowed that virus to infiltrate our family. Man, we've been together. The brown bag days, the blacked out game days, the Katrina days, the fucking 79 years, the heartbreaks in the playoffs, the redemption of being able to see hell freeze over and pigs fly for fucking once. That God shined his grace on us, that our team could be Super Bowl champions. We've seen it all, good and bad, but we always stuck together through it all. We got to root out that hate, though. We got to root out that hate. Some of y'all know who y'all are. Some of y'all say y'all a long time Who Dat. And if you a long time Who Dat, you know in your heart of hearts I'm right. You gotta get that hate out your heart. That man ain't do nothing to you. None of these men did nothing to you. Maybe they did. I don't know. If they did, well, I guess fuck them too. But I don't know. But if they ain't do nothing to you personally, you know what I mean? I gotta let that hate go. You criticize a play made by Derek Carr, they won't bring up James Winston. So what I decided to do, I'm gonna start bringing up Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton started most of last season. So I'm gonna start bringing them up. And look, when y'all bring up Chris Olave, I'm gonna start bringing up A.T. Perry. A.T. another touchdown. Perry ain't do shit to me. You know what? Maybe I'm just gonna bring him up since we want to talk about backups when we just trying to criticize or discuss people that's playing on the field. When we bring up Peter Carmichael, I'm gonna bring up like the running backs coach or some shit. I'm gonna bring up Ronald Curry. How about that? How about that? If we gonna keep on deflecting blame, we gotta stop that. But the reason why y'all want to blame the world is because y'all know what y'all did all off season. Y'all know how y'all was playing on dudes' names. Y'all know how y'all was spewing some of that rhetoric around the quarterback position. You know you did it. Acknowledge it. Repent. And let's move forward as a family. Or I can keep whooping y'all ass on the timeline with these debates because that has been making my day, to be quite honest with you. So have it your way. Like I said, it's Burger King. You can have it your way, you know. But are you ready to be a family again? Are you ready to actively root for the Saints as a team? Actively fucking get pissed off at the Saints as a team? Or because you so focused on your agenda, right? You're gonna try to single out players. You're gonna try to single out coaches. You're gonna try to single out GMs. You're gonna single out owners. When the truth of the matter is, they one and the same. They're the ass on the same cow. It is what it is. They connected. They intertwined. Ain't no such thing as one can do good and one can do bad. Like nah. If one do bad, they all did bad. If one do good, they all did good. It is what it is. Wouldn't be a team sport if that wasn't the case, right? So if y'all want to continue to cover, y'all want the media kings. I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna say who they are because I ain't trying to get sued or none of that. Even though I got some lawyers with me, but why I put them through the hassle? But y'all know who I mean when I say the media kings. Y'all listen to what they say. That's where y'all get y'all opinions from, just like everybody get their opinions from Stephen A. and Skip Bayless and all them. Y'all gotta stop that, man. Watch what you watch and be objective. Stop trying to single out players. Stop trying to make your decisions and your perspective of the game based on what a media member said from their perspective. Don't make their perspective your perspective. Get your own. They talking about Trevor Penny run block, and guess what y'all want to talk about all the time? Trevor Penny. Now I didn't want to talk about Chris Olave. Guess what y'all want to talk about all the time? Not Chris Olave. I see how they single it out. I see how they single it out. We used to be a team. We used to be a family. We ride together, we die together. We used to be that. What we at now. So again, like I said, how you want it, man. Can we be a family again, Who Dat Nation? And I'm even talking to y'all that I'm kind of pissed off at right now. I still love you. I do. I love you. Because we bonded by black and gold. We bonded by hardships. We bonded by some of them bad times. So I still love you. I still got love for you. But I want to do this with you. But if you want to still, spew your own narratives and feel how you want to feel about the team, baby, do you. But when I do me and I make it look stupid again, as I have been doing and I have been enjoying, it is what it is. And lastly, not that they probably even gonna listen, but I want to talk to God's chosen franchise. Y'all practice with these dudes every single day. Y'all, as AK alluded to, y'all should be sacrificing. A lot of y'all do sacrifice time with your family, with your girl, with your friends, to try to do better, to try to win games, to try to win a championship for this city. People that you may never see. Mostly people you will never see or hear from. If anybody got to get their shit together and become a family unit and not point fingers and come together to do something, it's gonna be y'all. Believe it or not, believe it or not, winning cures all. If we win enough, ain't nobody gonna give a fuck who the quarterback, the offensive line, the water boy, whatever it is. Nobody gonna care. So that starts with y'all. The city needs you. The city done turned to Gotham City. And yeah, I get it. It's a lot of pressure for 53 men to have amongst all the other stuff y'all deal with in your personal life and the people that's relying on you. But it is what it is. It's the nature. It's what comes with the territory, right? So what are y'all prepared to do? Let's talk about that. What are the players prepared to do? Y'all done spoke all week that it ain't the coaches, it's y'all. So what are y'all prepared to do to get us back on a winning track, to make us relevant in the sports world again? Coaches, how long y'all gonna leave the players out the fucking dry? Dennis Allen throwing everybody and their mama under the bus except the quarterback and the offensive coordinator and yourself. But how long you gonna leave them out to dry? You can keep saying it's execution, execution, execution. Well, if motherfuckers ain't executing, make some adjustments. Remember when all last year, Coach Allen, you was we make decisions based on performance, even though your quarterback had a broken foot damn near. But remember that we make decisions based on performance. It don't matter who you is, where you got drafted, how much money you're making. Yeah, we gonna make decisions for the better of the team. I want to see that, and not just with player personnel, with staff personnel. You seen the numbers. We ain't stupid. I'm tired of y'all treating me and my people like we stupid. Look, I can talk about the education system, but that's my people. That's my family. Fuck y'all. Y'all can't say it. Y'all can't treat us that way. Owner of the media kings that be trying to treat us like we stupid, like we don't know, like we ain't got two eyes. Some of my people may not be able to articulate the way you can, but they see it. So stop treating us like we stupid. Stand on business. If you, it was your decision to bring this guy in. It was your decision to keep this staff. It was your decision to bring in new defensive guys. Make it worthwhile. How about that? Make it worthwhile. Mickey, you already know. You already know. You family. You already know. And I ain't even gonna talk about Miss Gail. Y'all know my feelings about Miss Gail. Y'all know my feelings about who should be the rightful owner of the New Orleans Saints. But much like the matriarchs and the patriarchs in South Louisiana, sometimes, I'm glad my mama ain't do it, but sometimes they'll write you out the will after a little debacle. And they don't always have the time. Cause y'all know our South Louisiana people, they can hold grudges for a long time. Unfortunately, unfortunately, our guy only had a few years left and didn't really get a chance to reconcile with family, but it is what it is. So, but y'all know who I feel should be the owner of the New Orleans Saints, but she not. So it is what it is. So I won't even talk bad on Miss Gail because this ain't about her. And I hope, you know, like I said, members of God's chosen franchise, I hope y'all hear me. But Who Dat Nation, I hope y'all hear me. We got to get back to standing on business. And anybody within these walls that ain't standing on business, kick their ass out. They can go cheer for the Cowboys or the 49ers and shit. That's what they was doing before 2006 anyway. So get them dudes out, man. If you a fan of a player, get from around. We can't have honest discourse. If you just so focused on a player, whether you like or dislike them, we can't have no honest conversations, and you can't be a part of my fan base. I'm sorry. And do I have the keys to Who Dat Nation and bring people in and keep you out? No. But I do in terms of how I'm gonna interact with you from now on. You come with me with the this player, that player, I can't talk to you, man. Be a team. Be a team. So I want to talk about the team. I want to talk about the Saints. What are the Saints doing as a collective? Are they good or are they bad? Right now they bad. Not playing complimentary football. Maybe on a short week, they get stuff adjusted, whoop on Sunshine and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're happy for 10 days until we meet again to have this conversation. But what is going to be Who Dat Nation? What is going to be God's chosen franchise? We going to stand on business, get back to being a family? Or are we going to keep doing what we keep doing or what we've been doing, as Dennis Allen would love to say, and have what we have, mediocrity at every level? We going to keep standing for that? You stand for it enough in your day-to-day life. We see what the politicians do to us. We see what the education system doing with our kids. You see what the streets doing to our kids. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense that we want to deal with mediocrity with our favorite football team too. But I ain't one of them ones. I'm one of the ones that want to leave, make something better, see better. So I expect that. I expect better from my favorite football team. Do the same. Let's be family. Let's unite amongst this bullshit. Let's get our new head coach. Let's get our new OC. Let's get our new quarterback. And let's love on each other again. Now, with that being said, y'all know how I end this show. If you're a fan, you've been with me from the beginning. If I offended anybody, I'm sure I have. It's a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to learn, and it's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.